Hey guys, and welcome to or back to the Pause in Pursuit podcast with your host, Summer Clark. So I just dropped my phone on my face. Yes, I am laid down. It is only going to be a short episode for you guys today. I didn't want to leave you without an episode, but I also do not have the capacity at the moment to do a full episode. I'm still ill. I feel a lot better than I did, but I'm still I'm so tired. My chest feels like something sat on it, and yeah, it's not great. For a bit of context, I was pretty sure I had an ear infection coming on at the end of last week. I'm pretty prone to ear infections. I always have had them throughout my childhood. Apparently, I've got small tubes or small ear canals or whatever you call them. So I knew what it was going to be, if that makes sense. So I went to the doctors and she put me on antibiotics and also codeine, which is a pretty strong painkiller, because if you've ever had an ear infection, you know how painful it is in your ears when you get one and in your head. I also, at the same time, seemed to develop some sort of seasonal virus, cold, whatever you'd call it, which is also wiping me out a little bit. And then on top of that, I've also got, to be fair, it has gone away a little bit. I think it was triggered by being ill. But I've also got wisdom tooth pain. Again, if you know, you know, that is very painful. Wisdom teeth coming through weirdly or whatever. I do have a dentist appointment in a couple of weeks. Anyway, my yearly one, which is good timing. So they will tell me whether they think I need them taking out or not. I think I will at least need one taking out. My top right is killing most of the time at the moment. So yeah, I don't feel too ill today. Haven't had to have any sick days or anything, but I just feel out of it. And the side effects of codeine is drowsiness and just feeling like, if that makes sense. And that is exactly how I'm feeling. Luckily, I finished the codeine this morning, so it has nearly 2 days before GB tryouts to wear off. And then I finished the antibiotics midday tomorrow again, so good timing as far as tryouts goes. If it comes to it, I'll just have to have plenty of caffeine on Friday. But you know what? It's better that I had it when I did than if it was, because a week ago today I was about to start having it, if that makes sense. So it is better that it happened last week than this week. But anyway, that's why I'm not doing a huge episode today, but I did just want to come on and quickly cover a topic that you guys have probably seen on my social media over the past few days. But before we jump into that, quick weekly oh my god, see, I'm just so out of it. Quick weekly recap. My face hurts actually where I dropped my phone on it. What the heck? Anyway, it's not good on top of everything else, is it? Weekly recap, just a lot of work, to be honest. Haven't been to the gym in nearly a week because I just am too ill, which is kind of making me sad, but you know what? It is what it is. Saturday, we had a photo shoot with Nailers at Field of Dreams, which was really fun and a great opportunity for me to practice Arrow's contacts in a little session before tryouts. And then also we hired Ogilvy on Monday, so that was our last bit of GB tryout prep, which went well. And then today he had his final physio appointment, hence not going to training because it was the only time we could fit him in. And he's feeling good, he's all good, physically sound, so that's good going into the weekend. And then, yeah, that's pretty much my weekly recap. And then on to the topic, I also judged at Inspire on Sunday. And you guys have probably seen my post, rather lengthy social media post. I nearly didn't bother doing a post like that, but I thought, you know what? It's getting silly now. I've heard this happen to so many people and it's happened to me before. So I'm going to write something. Basically, I just had a load of shit from people stood bitching around the ring about my courses being too hard. I've had that before, and I've managed to just let it go over my head. But because I felt so ill on Sunday, this was just as I started taking my medication, and I felt so unwell, and I didn't want to cancel and let everyone down, especially because I have pulled out of multiple judging appointments with my broken foot last year. I just didn't want to cancel another one. So I was dosed up on my antibiotics and my codeine, and I was wrapped up, and I was just going to get through it, get it done. So, you know, to already feel that awful and then receive what are literally some of the nastiest comments I've ever received from fully grown adults stood bitching about me and my courses being too hard, not unsafe, because no one can say my courses are unsafe because they're not. And they were doing this directly behind my scribe, who's my mum, but because of the fencing, I'm not sure if they could see her there, which was quite funny. Because of how awful I was feeling, that was just a bit too much for me to grin and bear. I did struggle to deal with that at the weekend, which normally I don't. But this was the worst I've had it, but it's just typical that it was also coinciding with me feeling so poorly. But the most ironic part of the whole thing is that the bitching was mainly from handlers who regularly choose to run my courses month in, month out, okay? They always show up at Inspire or whatever other show I'm judging at, especially Inspire, and run my courses at every single show, every single month of Inspire. And I just want to say that I'm not forcing you to run my courses. By all means, don't enter my classes if you see my name on the schedule and you don't like my courses. That's your decision. No one's forcing you to enter all of the runs, okay? Either that or just try digging a little deeper with your dog training. You know, teach those skills. You're going to need to teach skills eventually, no matter what the grade. And if you're a real true dog trainer and you really do love agility, you would be excited about the prospect of teaching your dog new skills, okay? My courses, as I've just said, are never unsafe. Yes, they're tricky, and I am kind of known for tricky courses, I think, which I don't mind at all. But just because you haven't trained a certain skill doesn't mean that they're quote-unquote too hard. You can't label them as too hard just because your dog can't do them or you can't do them because you haven't practiced that skill, okay? And, you know, my aim during course design is to challenge each partnership and give everyone something to go away and improve on that will benefit their future within the sport, okay? And that's just going off of my own beliefs that personally I'd much rather see a skill that I haven't trained enough in a course before than blitz around something I've seen a million times and win, you know? At this point in my journey, and if I brought a dog out, say, that was in the lower grades, that is what I'd go in thinking, you know, I want to progress this dog now. That is the goal. And the only way to do that is to push yourself and challenge yourself and get out of your comfort zone and find your weaknesses, okay, so you can improve on them. And to me, agility isn't about winning a rosette or getting an ego boost every other week from winning every other week the same classes. It's about the delayed gratification of learning, improving, progressing, and feeling the satisfaction of sheer hard work paying off, okay? Feeling that satisfaction of being crap at something, working on it, and then being decent at it and being able to do it. That, okay? But it seems that's just me at this point. But I'm sure a lot of listeners of this podcast agree with me. But if there are any of those losers that were bitching listening, then that's for, I guess you're not like that, you know? And then another thing is that only you know your dog and what they can and cannot cope with on a course. Every dog is different, but that decision is entirely your responsibility, okay? And one that we all have as dog owners for our own dogs, because only we know our dogs. The judge has no idea, okay? And just like the younger version of Arrow, some dogs are anxious and will freak out if they fail a tricky skill. So in that case, and I probably shouldn't be advocating this, but feel free to run your own course to maintain their confidence, you know, if that's what you have to do. And on the other hand, some dogs lose their heads and go mental and wild in a competition environment and struggle to sequence the skills that they do have in training, or just struggle to sequence in general in competition just because of that's how they react to the environment. So in that case, the only way to fix this is to just practice, and you expose your dog to that environment and practice on anything you can. And, you know, I haven't liked every course I've ever walked. 100% have not always liked every course I've ever walked, but I wouldn't dream of throwing a strop just because it wasn't tailored to my preference, okay? unfortunately in life, guys, we can't always get what we want. I know it'd be nice if we could, but we can't. That's just not how life works. So just calmly in your mind decide whether to run it, whether to run your own course. You can make that decision, okay? So all in all, I'm not going to quit judging, even though I was very close to wanting to in the moment on Sunday when I was feeling so shitty. And I'm not going to let people who I don't even know the names of affect me long term, because truth is, I don't know the names of these people. I don't know who they are. And I've been in this sport since I was 11. I'm now 23. And I'm just glad that this didn't happen to the younger version of me, because she definitely wouldn't have had the resilience that I have today. And she might not have got over it as quickly. And she also might have quit the sport. Who knows? Because if you don't have tons of years of experience behind you, and if you haven't developed a bit of a thicker skin, then this will cause people to drop out of the sport. Like, is that what you want, you haters? Is that what you're trying to get? Less people in agility? Less judges? We're going to run out of judges, because I know people who've quit judging because of this, and people that have stopped doing agility because they don't like the community and they don't want to be associated with that. And I get that, to be honest. And it's just sad. But you know what? My ring party was amazing. The other, random people at Inspire that helped me out and supported me throughout that day, with everything going on. And also to those who do tell me that they like my courses, or, have sent me messages online since reading my post and running my courses, saying that, just nice things. I really do appreciate that. It does mean the world to me, and I am glad and relieved that there are still so many lovely people within our sport, because it's what our sport needs. I think for some reason it's getting nastier and nastier, and I don't know how to stop it, but yeah, I just needed to kind of raise awareness of this. And also, if you've ever dealt with anything like this before, not even just from a judging standpoint, but hate for your training, your running, anything, because my ring party also said they could hear people bitching behind the scrum about other competitors who were running their dogs on my course, but they were bitching about them and how they handled and their dog. That's just nasty. Like, what is wrong with you to do that? Like, people clearly just have to bitch about something and someone. It's like they enjoy drama, and some people do, and they thrive off of it. And I just think that's a really sad little life. And I feel sorry for those people, because people who act like that, it's usually out of jealousy. Jealousy of me, jealousy of the people running that they're bitching about, So I know what's going on, and I feel sorry for you if you're a hater, because it means you're really unhappy. So I hope you get better. I hope you find a bit of happiness. Honestly, you're pathetic, to be honest. You know who you are if you're one of these people. So I just advise you to grow up and get some perspective, or at least watch where you stand while you're slagging people off, because people can hear you, funnily enough. But yeah, just to wrap it up, it's literally dog agility. Like, for God's sake, look what it's dog agility. Like, dogs are jumping over sticks and through plastic things, and it's just like, come on, like, sort yourself out, sort your life out. But that's pretty much what I wanted to cover in today's episode. I am running out of breath now, so that is going to be it. Sorry to give you such a small episode, but I thought, you know what, better than nothing, and I'm sure I will be back to normal health next week and ready to yap your ear off for 40 minutes. But what's coming up for me in this next week? Number 1, priority, getting better. Number 2, GB tryouts, obviously Friday and Saturday. Again, expectations are lower because of the lack of prep, the lack of competing, the lack of course running over the past 4 months because of my broken foot. But hey ho, I'm just glad that I am better and we are both in good health to compete. So you'll see on social media how we get on at that. I'm just shutting my door because someone is knocking at the door and it's not the time. Ethel, please don't start barking. And then on Sunday, I am teaching a workshop, which will be very exciting. So 3 full-on long days of agility, but I am looking forward to it. I'm just hoping I feel a lot better by then. And that is pretty much it, I think. I've just got my usual work besides that. But yeah, hopefully another great week. And I also hope you guys have a good week as well. And I will talk to you next week. Please do remember to follow me on all of the social media platforms, especially Instagram and TikTok. I'm on Instagram pretty much every single day. So to find out what me and my dogs get up to in our day-to-day life, and also if you want to keep track of how I'm doing at tryouts this weekend, please do follow me on there at Pause in Pursuit or Summer Clark. Also, make sure to follow the podcast to make sure that you don't miss any future upcoming episodes. As I say every time, I've got some exciting guest ideas coming up for the future, so do not miss that. And what is the other thing I say? Oh yes, please, if you're feeling generous and you want me to get better, because this will miraculously heal my health, obviously, please do leave the podcast a 5-star rating or review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And also, if you know anyone who would benefit from hearing this little 15-minute episode that I've done for you guys today, such as someone who has had to deal with hate in agility before, then please let them know they're not alone. Send them this episode and hopefully they will benefit from it. But apart from that, guys, I will speak to you all next Wednesday with hopefully a longer episode. Bye, guys.